Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I used to think I could read my wife better than anyone. 7 years together teaches you a person's rhythms, how they move, how they react, how they breathe when something isn't right. So, when Rachel started drifting, I felt it before I understood it. It began small. A new phone case with a cover flap, then a new passcode, then the habit of flipping the screen down whenever I walked by. One night, I asked, "Everything okay with work?" She smiled too quickly. "Just busy, that's all." The smile didn't reach her eyes. Around the same time, she became very devoted to her gym routine. She said it helped her clear her head. Fair enough. But she'd come home showered already, makeup redone, hair styled like she was going somewhere else afterward. When I'd ask who she trained with, she'd say, "Different people, every week." That didn't match the consistency on her calendar. Then there were the sudden girls' nights, ones that never involved pictures, stories, or even the names of who she was with. Rachel used to share everything. Now she shared nothing. I didn't accuse her. I didn't blow up. I didn't chase shadows. I just watched. Quietly, patiently. Rachel had no idea I was paying attention. One evening she sat across from me at dinner, pushing her food around like a kid pretending to eat vegetables. Then she said, "Dennis, maybe we should try couples therapy." I didn't react. "Therapy?" She nodded. "We've been disconnected. I want us to be better." Her voice trembled slightly, like the request was rehearsed, like she needed the idea to land perfectly. I wiped my mouth, kept my tone level. "If you think it helps, we can try it." She looked relieved. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Thank you. I want us to fix things." I nodded, but inside something settled. Therapy wasn't her way of saving us. It was her way of getting ahead of something she didn't want to tell me outright. The night before our first session, Rachel paced the hallway like she was practicing lines for a performance. That's when I knew something bigger was coming. My suspicions didn't start with therapy. They started months earlier, on a random Tuesday, when Rachel left her laptop open on the couch while rushing to answer a phone call. I wasn't snooping. Her screen lit up on its own. A notification flashed from our shared cloud account, a photo backup, then another, then a message preview that disappeared so fast I barely caught the name attached to it. Josh. A man from her office I had heard exactly 3 sentences about. It was nothing conclusive, but it was enough to make me pay attention. Over the next weeks, the signs multiplied. Rachel took her phone everywhere, even to the shower. She turned off message previews. She changed her passcode twice in 1 month. She stopped talking about her coworkers entirely, as if the whole company suddenly became uninteresting. One night, after she fell asleep, I checked our shared cloud drive. Not her phone, just the public folder we both used. A few thumbnails popped up, half deleted and half synced. Nothing explicit. But there were fragments of screenshots, cropped images, and pieces of conversations that didn't match the stories she told me. I needed certainty. Guessing felt weak. So I hired Samuel Rivera, a private investigator recommended by an old friend, former security consultant, quiet, professional, the kind of man who didn't ask unnecessary questions. "I just need clarity," I told him. He nodded once. "You'll have it." 3 weeks later, Samuel asked to meet in person. He placed a slim folder on the cafe table between us. Inside were printed photos. Rachel meeting a man outside her office, laughing too hard at nothing, leaning a bit too close. Another photo showed her and the same man at a wine bar. His hand rested on her knee. "That's Josh," Samuel said. My jaw clenched. "You said there was more." He slid out a second set of photos. Different man. Gym clothes, tattoos, athletic build. They met behind the gym, not in front. They talked like they knew everything about each other. Dates on the photos went back nearly 3 years. "That one's Mark," Samuel said. 3 years. My stomach tightened, but my voice stayed steady. "Thank you," I said. I didn't confront Rachel. Not yet. Evidence means nothing until the person says the truth out loud. And I needed her to say it herself. Couples therapy started on a Thursday afternoon in a quiet office. Dr. Elaine Harris was soft-spoken, with a way of tilting her head that made every sentence sound like a gentle invitation. Rachel liked her immediately. I could tell from the way she sat forward on the couch, hands folded like a student ready to impress a teacher. The first session was harmless. Communication styles, small disagreements, daily routines. Rachel talked about feeling distant and unappreciated, choosing her words carefully, never too sharp, never too bold. I listened. Dr. Harris nodded often. By the third session, Rachel started circling the same points. I feel like Dennis doesn't understand me, she said. I think he ignores my emotional needs. Dr. Harris looked at me. How do you respond to that, Dennis? I'm trying, I said simply. And that was true, just not in the way they thought. I watched Rachel during those sessions. Her hands would shake. She'd glance at her phone every few minutes like she was waiting for an alarm that hadn't gone off yet. She looked guilty enough to confess, but terrified of actually doing it. Dr. Harris encouraged openness every time. If there's anything either of you is holding in, she said, this is the place to speak. Rachel smiled like she agreed, but her eyes told a different story. She wasn't ready. Not yet. The night before our fourth session, she barely slept. She paced the hallway. She stood at the window staring at nothing. She kept starting sentences and abandoning them halfway. At breakfast, she whispered, Dennis, tomorrow, please be patient with me. Of course, I said. But inside, I knew exactly what tomorrow was. The fourth session began quietly. Rachel sat rigid, hands clasped so tight. I waited. Dr. Harris waited. Halfway through, Rachel finally turned toward me, face pale, voice thin. Dennis, if I told you I did something that hurt you, would you forgive me? Her question hung in the air like the moment before a building collapses. And I knew the confession was minutes away. I didn't answer her question right away. I just looked at her, calm, steady, letting the silence do its work. Rachel swallowed hard and blinked fast, like she was trying to hold herself together. Dennis, I haven't been honest, she said. I made a mistake. Dr. Harris leaned forward. Take your time, Rachel. Say what you need to say. Rachel wiped her palms on her jeans. There's someone at work. His name is Josh. It started last year. I'm so sorry. It was emotional at first, and then it crossed a line. She started crying, the kind of crying that was more panic than sadness. I ended it, she said. I swear I ended it. It didn't mean anything. I was stressed and... Is that all? I asked quietly. Her breath caught. Her eyes darted to the floor. Dr. Harris noticed the shift and spoke gently. Rachel, if there's more, this is the moment to be fully honest. Rachel shook her head, then nodded, then shook her head again like her muscles couldn't decide which lie to pick. There was someone else before Josh, she whispered. A long time ago, a trainer from my gym. His name is Mark. It lasted longer, almost 3 years. 3 years. She said it like she was apologizing for burning dinner, not dismantling our marriage. Dr. Harris exhaled softly. That must be incredibly hard for Dennis to hear. This is a lot for both of you. Maybe we can slow down and... No need, I said, standing up. Both of them looked shocked. Thank you for your help, Dr. Harris, I said. This session has been very clarifying. Rachel's voice cracked. Dennis, wait, please. We came here to work on us. No, I said. You came here to confess in a safe room. I came here to hear you say it out loud. She stared at me, confused. What do you mean? I already knew, I said. Josh, Mark, all of it. Her mouth fell open. You knew? I've suspected for months. She stood too fast. Then why pretend? Why let me sit here and... Because I needed the truth from your mouth. Not excuses, not half-stories, just the truth. I walked toward the door. Rachel reached for my arm. Dennis, please, we can fix this. We're past fixing, I said. And I left her standing in that quiet, crying into her hands while the truth finally caught up to her. The hallway outside the therapy office was silent, except for Rachel's footsteps chasing mine. Dennis, stop, please, she shouted, voice echoing off the walls. I kept walking, calm, steady. By the time I reached the parking lot, Martin Cole, my attorney, was already standing beside my car. Suit pressed, folder in hand, expression unreadable. He nodded when he saw me. Rachel stumbled out behind me, still crying. Dennis, can we just talk? Just us? Martin stepped forward politely. Mrs. Walker? I'm Martin Cole. Dennis asked me to prepare some documents. Rachel froze like someone had kicked the ground out from under her. Who are you? My attorney, I said. Her eyes widened. She looked between me and Martin. Attorney? For what? Martin didn't grandstand. He didn't make it dramatic. He simply held out a sealed envelope. This packet outlines a proposed separation agreement. Dennis can review and sign his portion today. You may review your copy whenever you're ready. Rachel stared at the envelope like it was radioactive. You're divorcing me? I kept my voice level. I started the process weeks ago. Her breath hitched. Weeks? Dennis, I just told you about Josh and Mark 5 minutes ago. You didn't know before today. I knew enough, I said, and today you confirmed it. She pressed her palms to her forehead. This is insane. You set me up. No, I said. I let you choose honesty on your own timetable. You waited until now. That's not fair, she snapped. I was scared. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought therapy would help us. I shook my head. Therapy wasn't for us. It was for your conscience. She took a shaky step toward me. Dennis, don't do this. We can fix it. I'll make it right. You had years to make it right, I said. Instead, you lied every day. Martin placed a pen in my hand. I signed the first page of my packet. Rachel, Martin said gently, you should look over your packet with legal counsel. That's the next step. She didn't answer. She just stood there, shaking, mascara streaked down her cheeks, finally realizing the ground had shifted under her. And for the first time in years, I felt steady. The messages started an hour after I left the parking lot. Long paragraphs at first, then short bursts, then voice notes where Rachel swung between crying and blaming. Please, Dennis, talk to me. I'm begging you. You can't throw away 7 years over one mistake. Okay, 2 mistakes, but you ignored me for years. I didn't answer a single one. I forwarded everything to Martin, just like he told me. Documentation protects you, he said. So I documented. 2 days later, Rachel switched tactics. She sent apologies, then promises, then threats. If you don't answer me, I'll tell everyone what you did. Your silence is emotional abuse. You pushed me away. That's why I did it. It was all noise from someone who finally lost control of the story. Then her mother called. Carol's voice was sharp enough to cut through static. Dennis, how dare you humiliate my daughter like this? Serving her paperwork in a parking lot? Really? She cheated for years, I said calmly. That's why we're here. Carol scoffed. She told me it was a rough patch, a short lapse in judgment. That short lapse lasted roughly 3 years with one man, then continued with another. Silence. Then, Rachel didn't mention that. No surprise. Carol kept yelling. I hung up. She called back twice. I didn't answer. Rachel's younger brother Daniel reached out later that night. His tone was different, steady, cautious. I'm not defending what she did, he said. I just want to know if this is really final. It is, I said. He sighed. All right. I respect that. The next morning, the doorbell rang. Rachel stood on the porch, wearing a faded hoodie, eyes swollen. When she tried her key, it didn't work. I'd changed the locks earlier that week. Legal, according to Martin, since the house was mine before the marriage. Open the door, she said. Please. This isn't your home anymore, I said through the intercom. Martin sent you the schedule for picking up your things. Choose a time. Her voice cracked. You're really shutting me out? You shut yourself out. She cried there for almost 10 minutes. Then she walked off the porch, shoulders shaking, heading toward her car like she had nowhere left to go. And the truth was, she didn't. The preliminary hearing was held in a small courtroom on a Tuesday morning. I arrived early with Martin. Rachel came in 10 minutes late with her attorney, Angela Park, walking beside her. She looked nothing like the woman who chased me into the parking lot. Her makeup was soft, dress modest, hair pulled back like she was trying to play the part of a devoted wife who'd been blindsided. Angela opened with confidence. Your Honor, Mrs. Walker seeks a fair division of marital assets, temporary support, and legal fee coverage. She made significant emotional contributions to the home. Judge Ramirez, a sharp-eyed woman in her 50s, barely blinked. Let's be clear about one thing before we continue. Was there adultery? Angela shifted. Your Honor, there were emotional challenges within the marriage that... Mrs. Walker, the judge interrupted. Did you engage in extramarital relationships? Rachel's voice was small. Yes. How long? She hesitated. A while. Martin stood smoothly. Your Honor, I have documentation detailing the timelines. One relationship lasted nearly 3 years. The second overlapped last year. Judge Ramirez frowned. Mrs. Walker, do you dispute this? Rachel's lips trembled. No. The judge nodded. All right. Now, financial contributions. How much did you pay toward the mortgage? Rachel blinked. I didn't. Property taxes? No. Home insurance? No. Judge Ramirez looked over her glasses. So, the home was purchased before the marriage and fully funded by Mr. Walker. Angela jumped in. Your Honor, my client contributed in non-financial ways. Emotional support, household maintenance. Did you cook? The judge asked Rachel. Sometimes. Did you clean? We had a service. Work full-time? I taught yoga classes. The judge tilted her head. Mrs. Walker, you lived in a home paid for entirely by your husband while engaging in long-term affairs. You are requesting the sale of that home and support payments. On what legal grounds? Rachel's eyes filled. She had no answer. Judge Ramirez delivered her ruling with crisp finality. House remains Mr. Walker's. No support. Each party pays their own attorney. Final hearing in 6 weeks. Rachel sagged in her chair. Carol muttered angry things under her breath. I walked out steady. Rachel stumbled after me, but the bailiff held her back. For the first time in years, the truth, not her story, had the final word. After the hearing, Rachel began grasping at anything she could still control. Her messages came from new numbers every day, short, frantic bursts. You destroyed everything. I can't eat. I hate you. Please talk to me. I blocked each number, forwarded everything to Martin. Silence was my only strategy, and it worked. Then came the social media phase. Rachel posted quotes about betrayal, narcissists, and emotional abandonment, carefully vague but aimed at one target. Mutual friends reached out, asking for my side. I kept it simple. We're divorcing. It's handled privately. Nothing more. No arguments. No explanations. She tried showing up at my workplace once. Security escorted her out in under 3 minutes. She waited outside my gym the next week, but I walked past without stopping. Each rejection seemed to push her further into panic. Rachel lost weight, stopped teaching her yoga classes, moved back into her childhood bedroom. Daniel told me she rarely left the house. At night, according to him, she cried loud enough for everyone to hear. Actions have echoes. Hers came back louder than she expected. As the final hearing approached, Angela Park reached out to Martin. She wants to avoid trial, she said. She'll accept the previous terms. No surprise. A trial would drag Josh and Mark into court, and Rachel knew it. On the day of the final hearing, she walked in quietly, wearing the same faded hoodie she'd shown up in at my porch weeks earlier. No makeup, no smile, just empty eyes. She signed the dissolution papers without lifting her gaze. Afterward, outside the courthouse, she finally spoke. I hope you're happy now, she said. Not angry, just hollow. I wanted loyalty, I said. Not this. She hugged her arms around herself. I made mistakes. Mistakes happen once, I said. Yours lasted years. Her voice cracked. You didn't have to destroy me. I didn't destroy you, Rachel. You built your life on lies. It collapsed because the truth finally showed up. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Daniel came to guide her away. She didn't look back. Martin and I walked to my car. How do you feel? He asked. Clear, I said. I drove home, quiet, steady, no secrets, no double life unfolding behind my back. Rachel once asked me in therapy if I'd forgive her for cheating. The answer was always no. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need a scene. I just needed the truth spoken out loud so I could walk away without doubt. And now, finally, I was free. Thank you for watching.